Hi and welcome back. So, if you were to ask me, Fiona, what is your favorite dish to have? I would say it was these delicious melt in your mouth meatballs. So, today I'm super excited to share the recipe with you. Okay, let's talk about breadcrumb. So, for the breadcrumb mixture, I'm using my sourdough bread by simply toasting 3 to 4 pieces of bread and then blending it in a food processor. And that's my breadcrumb. Of course, you can use any kind of breadcrumb you like. So add the milk to it and let it sit until it soaks up all that moisture. And we go and chop our veggies while this is sitting for about 5 to 10 minutes. So if you are gluten-free, you can always replace this breadcrumb mixture with 1 cup of cooked quinoa. So here I have 1 large shallot and some garlic. So if you have a small shallot, just use 2 of them. And if you can't get a shallot, just use a small onion. This is a cool way to kind of peel your garlic. You just smash it and then the skin comes off really easily. I love using a lot of garlic in my food, but if you are a person that doesn't like garlic that much, cut it down to about 2 to 3 cloves of garlic. So roughly chop that and put that aside. Now I get my parsley and roughly chop that as well. I do have a herb garden that I pick my herbs from. So here I have sage, oregano, and thyme. I roughly chop these as well. If you don't have access to get fresh herb, just use Italian seasoning or just use oregano and thyme. That should work fine. Okay, now I'm going to chop one of my favorite ingredient in this meatballs, which is mushroom. So here I've used this variety of mushroom, but feel free to use any variety that you like or mix the mushrooms together. Just get creative, make it your own. These mushrooms are going to make my meatballs nice and juicy, at the same time light in texture. Okay, our breadcrumb looks good. It looks like it absorbed all the liquid. It doesn't look dry. It's nice and moist. And now I'm ready to add all my chopped veggies in there. So I'm adding my parmesan. I'm going to add some salt. And I like to use pepper flakes. I like my meatballs just a little bit spicy, not too much. So use as much as you like. Mix everything in so it's all incorporated before adding your egg and meat in. Okay, now I'm ready to add both my eggs. Give it a good mix so it's all covered in the mixture. Now, meat should be the last thing that goes into your mixture here. I'll tell you why in a minute. So here I'm using 15% ground meat. You could also do this with 20% ground meat. It should work just fine. So quickly and gently mix with your hands to combine the ingredients evenly. But avoid over mixing, which can make the meatballs really tough. So the secret to a very flavorful and delicate meatball, it's not to over mix it, guys. And this is why I'm asking you to add the meat at the very end. Okay, my mixture looks good. Now it's the time to preheat the oven at 425. So while our oven is heating, in a baking sheet that has rims, evenly distribute some olive oil before putting our meatballs on it. Here you can use an ice cream scooper to roll up your meatballs, or just use your hands and roll them up. Okay, my meatballs look great. They're ready to go in the oven now, or you can get a little bit more creative and add some mushrooms, cherry tomatoes, herbs. I always love the flavor of roasted mushroom and tomatoes to go with my meatballs. So here I have my mushroom, my cherry tomatoes, and I drizzle it with a little bit olive oil, salt, pepper, and a little bit more herb before it goes in the oven. The addition of tomatoes, it just makes the dish really pretty as well as flavorful. Okay, my meatballs are ready to go in the hot oven. So I bake them for about 15 to 20 minutes or until it's a little bit golden on top. Now I'm going to show you how I make my red sauce. Okay, so for my red sauce, I'm going to build up flavor. So here I'm going to start with garlic and about 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Toss it with some fresh herbs, thyme, oregano, whatever you have, and I'm adding a little bit of pepper flake here because I like my meatballs just a little bit spicy. Toss that for about a minute. You don't want to burn your garlic. Okay, now you add 1 jar of marinera sauce, and if your sauce is too thick, add about half a cup of water to it. Let it simmer, add the salt and pepper, and then once it comes to a simmer and you add my secret ingredient, which would be red wine. So add about half a cup of red wine. I don't think I added enough here. I did add more later, but taste it, see how it tastes for you. Put the lid on and let it simmer. It's time to check on our meatballs. So look at that, they're nice and golden, and do you see the char on the tomatoes and on the mushroom? It just smells amazing. So all this charred mushroom and tomato, it's going to give a lot of flavor to my sauce. These meatballs are super delicate, so just pick them up gently and put them all in the sauce. Make sure you get all those tomatoes and mushrooms in there. Make sure you put the lid on and put it on low heat when it's simmering. Let it simmer for about 40 minutes. Check on it, see if it needs a little bit more juice. Add about half a cup of water to it and let it simmer for a few more minutes. And these meatballs look great. They're nice and juicy and they're ready to be served. So I'm gonna go and start making my pasta. So I made this pasta about an hour ago. I have avocado pasta, I've got spinach pasta. I do have tutorials on them. I'll put the link in the description. So try to serve your meatballs with fresh pasta. It does make a huge difference in flavor. So in a boiling hot water, I boil my pasta for about a couple of minutes, not too long. Always taste a little bit, see how al dente you like it. And in a skillet, lightly oil with olive oil until it's warm. Then put your pasta in there with about 3 to 4 tablespoons of pasta water. Give it a good toss before serving it with your meatballs. So there you have it. This is how you make my super delicious meatballs. And I sure hope you give this a try because it's super delicious, and I hope I did inspire you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.